Hey Forest family, you're very welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Joe Price, Wilderness Skills Instructor, and behind the camera is Ida Olsson.
Hello everyone!
It's cold out today and she's definitely warm and toasty there, slightly jealous. But I'm here to make a companion video. I made a video not too long back about my 5 books for outdoor beginners, my absolute essential reads, and it got such great traction and such amazing feedback. But a lot of people there were asking, Joe, these are great books. Basic knowledge to some who've been in the outdoors a long time. What about us who are taking a bit more of an intermediate or a next step journey away from your basic backpacking knowledge? So I said, that's great. So I thought I'd share with you some intermediate books, my favorite intermediate level books for when you're outside to kind of take that basic knowledge and kind of build on it. So the first one out the gate is the NOLS Wilderness Medicine book. This is the 7th edition, but it's absolutely fantastic. It is a first aid book, and you see an awful lot of wilderness first aid books out there that's like, you know, make a tourniquet out of a shoelace and all that kind of stuff. But this is kind of the standard you would expect. This is the NOLS system of wilderness first aid medicine, and it is a fantastic book. You should never exceed your training when it comes to first aid, but it does no harm that if you understand, say, hyperthermia, hypothermia, how to spot them, your sprains, your strains, your burns and your bleeds, this will have some amazing tips in there for you, and even build on some knowledge should you take some wilderness first aid courses out there. And NOLS themselves do courses very cheap. Some bushcraft schools do them all around the world, and it's worth getting on them. But if you want to do a bit of pre-study and a bit of knowledge upping, this is a fantastic one. The next is the official Hillwalking handbook. This is a great one for those who want to kind of delve more deeply into going across mountains, getting better knowledge when it comes to maps, navigation, orienteering, and terminology. As you can see, this one is very thumb through. I absolutely love this one because hill walking is something I don't do so often, so I like to be able to up that up. But that's a great one. The official handbook of the mountain leader and walking group leader schemes. It's more of an educational textbook, and you can see where I'm going with these intermediate ones. Next is for those out there who have maybe kids, they've gone out to the woods. You as a parent may love camping and gone out to the woods, and now you've got children that have come of age and you want to introduce it. This is a great book by a friend of mine called John Bow. It's a Bushcraft family guide. It's very easy to read. John is an amazing instructor there from the UK in a school called Wildways, and this book is great. I've used an awful lot of tips in this when I'm out with my 9-year-old and we're out in the woods, and that's what I'd recommend, because it's not always about testing yourself and going to extreme environments. Maybe moving on from the basics is getting to go out in groups, and those groups could be your kids. Kids these days especially may not find trees so interesting straight out the gate. This is the book for that one. The next is by a great guy and a legend in the space called John Rhyder. It's called Woodcraft. Now, John was a pioneer of bushcraft in the UK way back in the day, but in this modern day and age of social media, John's name is kind of not there, you know, and that's a shame, but such is the time and it moves on. But John deserves all the credit for all he did in the space. This is Woodcraft. This is his book. One, it is written in a very old school style with an awful lot of personal stories and personal experience from John's many, many, many years in the woods. But also he opens the book by saying that he wanted to create a book with tips in it that you don't see in other books, and that was absolutely fantastic, and I got hooked, and Woodcraft became a favorite on my shelf. It focuses an awful lot on arborist skills, taking down trees, tree identification, tracking, which John is a big kind of proponent of and a kind of a pioneer of bringing cyber tracking to the UK. So Woodcraft by John Rhyder, and in fact, if you have a chance to check out a course with him, I would recommend doing that. Next is a Scandinavian book. Being an Irish guy living in Sweden, I couldn't not give a shout out to my Scandinavian kind of authors and heritage and people out there. This is a book, and I need to look at his name. It's J.S. Opdahl. I always forget it. But while me and Ida were in the Forest Museum in Norway, we stumbled across this beautiful signed edition, which Ida left a lovely note on the inside for me too. But this is the Fur Trapper's Bible. Now, there's an awful lot of books out there on trapping. And this isn't me discrediting the greats that have come along like Tom Brown and so forth. But they kind of tend to be very surface level, and rightly so. And that's not what this video is about. This is about someone that wants to kind of maybe take those skills to the next level. J.S. Opdahl has gathered so much knowledge. And unlike maybe most you see online today, his whole life living, his father's living, came from trapping, especially in Scandinavia. And that's what I like most about it, is it pertains to European animals. An awful lot of books around trapping would be mainly based across with our friends across the Atlantic. So it's based in Europe, it has European laws, it has letter from people, and this is a guy who dedicated his whole life from the moment he started walking to the present day about fur trapping in extreme environments and in northern latitudes. And it is absolutely, in my opinion, their Bible when it comes to trapping, especially on the European continent. Next of all is a great book by another good friend of mine called The Outdoor Field Guide. Now, if you plan on being an instructor, or you plan on maybe becoming a mountain leader, a group leader, a hill walking leader, a guide, basically someone who plans on maybe stepping into the business realm side of the outdoor space and taking your hobby to the next level, this, as an instructor, is probably one of the best go-to sources that I have ever read. It is The Outdoor Field Guide by Jonathan Tait. Jonathan Tait is not only an amazing artist, but also another gent who's dedicated a large part of his life to being outside, and he has created possibly the best compendium for us teachers and stuff in the woods. Not only is the cover designed to be brought outdoors, all the pages are waterproof. It comes in this beautiful binder, this ring binder here, and Jonathan has illustrated all the birds and everything else in there himself. Also, what I love about it and why I say it's a great teacher's guide is the pages are not only color coded and very well indexed, can be removed. They are waterproof and you can take to your classes. Like, for example, here I have a beautiful example of a route card. So you can bring that to classes, or you can show people at demonstrations. It also has some very comprehensible lists on kit and stuff like that that he recommends for different conditions. And I would recommend everything in this book that Jonathan has created. It is basically top-notch information, but absolutely brilliant. You can buy a small spiral binder in any stationery store, and if you happen to be heading out to do a bit of bushcraft, do a bit of bird spotting, do a bit of whatever, you can remove said pages, put them in your ring binder, maybe along with your map and in your admin pouch, and head off out into the forest. And that is why I recommend The Outdoor Field Guide. So I hope you can see from those books there that I've maybe, hopefully, answered some of the questions when it comes to intermediate books. I say intermediate because I hope you see that these are next level skills in tree identification, in trapping, in hill walking, and also if you plan on taking those next steps into the professional outdoor space. They are my top tips when it comes to those things. They are all good friends of mine. I'd appreciate it if you go to support them, and I'll catch you in the next video.